I used to spend 1/4 of what I spend today 7 years ago when I was a student. I don't know if it's just me that is feeling this way, but Canada is getting so expensive and groceries are one of the areas that you feel it the most. And sometimes I'm just so shocked by how much those prices have changed over time, and I'm so surprised that no one is doing much to change this or reverse it. So I wanted to make this video first of all to also get your thoughts on how you're navigating this situation if you're in Canada, and also to bring some transparency and education for people that are outside of Canada that always think that everything here is so cheap, so affordable, and so beautiful. It's not always the case. When it comes to grocery shopping, I tend to buy the same thing every single time because I tend to eat the same meals every single time. I might switch out my protein here and there, but I like to keep things simple when I meal prep. So in a given week, I could make about 2 different options for breakfast, 1 option for lunch, and 1 option for dinner. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Typically for me, when I'm in a calorie deficit, I like to have oatmeal and Greek yogurt with honey, or I like to have a slice or 1.5 slice of bread with egg whites and eggs. So those are like the 2 breakfasts that I like to go between. And then for my lunch, I like to have quinoa, some vegetables, and a source of protein. So for my protein, I like to go between chicken or lean beef. I really enjoy minced meat. I just think that it's so delicious and it goes so well with everything. And I like to have that with some veggies. It could be Brussels sprouts, it could be cabbage, just anything that has been cooked. I also like to add some quinoa. And my goal is always at the end of the day to try and get that 100 grams of protein or more. And then for dinner, I like to have fish, and it really depends on how I've decided to cook it that week. I could get fish and just have fish and vegetables. I also really like adding a keto tortilla as well. Is it tortilla or tortilla? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, but I'll put it up here. But I like to go with that. I like to add eggs, and I also like to add tuna as well, and then I also like to add veggies, so cabbage. And by the time you're done eating this, you're gonna feel full. I like to go for high volume, so even with my vegetables, I like to go with things that are gonna look big. And I also like to add cucumber. Cucumber has like a lot of water, so it also fills you up. And then I also try to drink 3 liters of water minimum, especially during my calorie deficit. Now I've realized that sometimes when life gets busy, all of this just gets thrown out the window, and I'm just trying to survive. I'm eating whatever is in the house, whatever is available, whatever I can reach out for. But I do want to get better at that. I want to be able to keep this all through the year, and of course increase the amount of food depending on if I'm like maintaining or cutting or whatever it is that I'm trying to achieve. So if you're just wondering, what is she talking about, maintaining, cutting, all of that? So my goal is to gain muscle and lose weight. So as we get older, we start to lose muscle, especially as women. And one of the things that I have done is invest in my health and start working out so that I can keep my muscle. And muscle is what allows you to, feel strong, to do the things that you do now when you're much older. The idea is to have that lean physique. That is what I want. I want to have like a lean toned physique. And for me to achieve that, I think the best path is to build the muscle and then cut out the fat, like do a cut. That's what it means to do a cut. You go into a deficit so that the fat goes away and then the muscle remains. And the muscle that is seen is the muscle that you've built in the gym, and you're just removing the fat to show that muscle. So that's what I want to do. And this is why I care about groceries so much, because it's a huge part of how I'm going to be able to achieve the physique and the health goal that I have for myself. To be honest, the protein is the most expensive part of this whole situation, because anytime I buy meat, like even just one meat, like a pack, it's gonna be about maybe $30, and then you buy about 2 of those for the week, and that's already about $60. So I do spend a lot of money on the protein source. And I also get my Greek yogurt. I get the 0% Greek yogurt, and I add honey to that. So I'm okay spending on my groceries because I get a ton of value from this, right? But I'm also a little bit like worried about where we're gonna be in 2 to 3 years, like how expensive things are gonna get and what we're gonna be eating, what we're gonna be able to afford to eat. Because you know, if the money that we're making is not matching how expensive things are getting, the quality of life will most likely start to decrease, and we're gonna have to cut back on a lot of things that are tied to our health and are tied to the nutrition that we have. And by the way, food is medicine. It's just the one that you can eat every day to make sure that your body is good, so that you don't have to pay lots of money to the doctor and the hospitals to maintain yourself and to get all those different things that they want you to take when you're not feeling well, right? Okay, so let's quickly walk through what I typically buy. So on my list, I have Greek yogurt, egg whites, eggs, and I also have chicken breast, extra lean ground beef, either or, depending on what I want to eat that week, light flake tuna as well for dinner. And then I also have my 12 grain bread, oatmeal, quinoa. The quinoa that I buy lasts me a long time, so I actually feel like quinoa is always a good purchase. And then oatmeal as well, and then also the keto tortilla. Now, the keto tortillas are the most expensive one. I just really like them because of the macros and everything, but that is definitely very expensive. And then for vegetables, I typically do cucumbers, romaine lettuce, yeah. And then also grape tomatoes, onions, what else? Bell pepper sometimes. Sometimes bell pepper. Sometimes I do fruits, sometimes I don't. If I were to do a fruit, I'll most likely do a banana. And then I usually get honey, but honey is gonna last you a long time. That's not something I'm gonna get every single week. And then for seasoning, I like to get like a Knorr seasoning, pepper, hot sauce, salt if there isn't any in the house, Scotch bonnet. What else? I think that's pretty much it, right? Like, I don't spend a lot of money on seasoning. Shawarma seasoning. I always try to make shawarma, it never works out. I wish someone would show me exactly how. And yes, I have tried tons of recipes online. It just never comes out the way I like it. And to be honest, this is not about like being restrictive in our budget, because of course there are areas that I'm willing to spend on, and this is one of them. I'm just worried about, like, I still think it's a lot. I still think that maybe I'm doing it wrong, and maybe there's a better way to like buy these things and save more money. I don't know where I'm getting that idea from, but it's just too expensive. Like, and I've also heard about people bulk buying meat. I've thought about it. I feel like if I did that, I would need to buy a new fridge, actually a freezer to store it, and then I would also need to find someone to buy it from. And how do I know if it's lean beef? I know it's also tricky because of the health thing. Like, I want to make sure like it's lean beef. I don't want something that is super fatty. These are just all my thoughts. Like, I don't know. Adulting in Canada as a first generation immigrants can be very tricky because there are so many questions that you don't even know who to ask, and you don't know where those answers are, and it just kind of feels like maybe everyone else knows these things already. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everyone is just as lost. I don't know. I'm curious to know though, what do your groceries look like? Like, what do you typically buy for the week? What do you typically eat? Do you have any health goals, or do you have like a big family, a small family? Because also for us, with everything that I've shared, it comes to about $250 per week, like roughly. 2-person household, and we can spend up to $600 on groceries and also household items. Like, I also buy like paper towels and tissue and things for the house, and I also added that math in there because I typically buy from the same place, like detergent, dish soap, hand wash, how do you call it? Hand soap. Yeah, something to wash your hand. Yeah, Canada is expensive, and it's getting more expensive.